E-Fence sends $25 and says, okay, get this. Yogi Bear Shmup. Oh, you see, we're spreading out in the Yogi-verse. You could use Boo Boo as an option. He could fly around next to you like a Gradius option. Yeah, you see? You all are doing so good. All right. Michael sends $10 and says, AGDQ, love it. Best week in January. No argument here. So, up next, it is the story of the most bravest and most handsome and most legendary warrior in all of Gallowmere. This is MediEvil with Jacobo the Chocobo. Let's go.
All right, folks. This is MediEvil. Thank you for the introduction. I am Jacobo the Chocobo and my two commentators.
Hi, I'm Jaxler. I was just on for Scoopy, and I also happen to run this game.
MediEvil.
Okay, so really quick before we start, I'm just going to go over the category. It's called any percent no DGS. That DGS means Dragon Gate skip. The old 80% route, which is what I'm doing today, does not skip this Dragon Gate. The new 80% route does. What that means is that in a later stage called the Gallows Gauntlet, there's this fiery gate called the Dragon's Gate, and you basically can get through it doing these two difficult clips. That's the new 80% route. I am not doing that, so you'll see me going through the Dragon Gate the normal way, which requires getting the dragon armor and several other key items. I'll leave the explanation as that happens for later. So for now, we're going to start a run. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck, dude.
Thank you. I'll start off with the speed glitch here, after these guys do some dialogue, if one of you wants to take that.
Naz, you're probably better explaining it than me.
Sure thing. So this was apparently well known for many years, but it was revealed to us runners only like in late summer 2020. Basically, the speed glitch is speed accumulation you can create by playing with the thumbstick, by just finding the right pace with which you go from 1 to 0 with your input. And what happens, as you can see on screen, is that then builds up some speed. There is a similar speed glitch in MediEvil 2, although in that game it is way more prominent, way more effective. Like,
yeah, so
in MediEvil 2 then can just fly through the stages.
If you're hearing those taps, the tappy 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 over here, that's my analog stick kind of, I'm hitting it to a certain rhythm here. If I fail it, as you saw at the beginning of the stage, you see that Dan walks instead. So we try to do it here to save some time, but the problem is if you fail it, you of course lose time. We do not do this after we get the Daring Dash ability, which comes after return to the graveyard. And that's going to be in a few stages.
Yeah, and speaking of other things we don't do, you're also going to notice that Jacobo is not going to be grabbing any chalices in this run.
That's right.
Now, if you've played this game before, you might be familiar with the fact that if you kill enough enemies in the game, it will fill up a meter in the corner of the screen that will allow you to grab a chalice and grab new weapons and new upgrades. Doing that is really slow, so it forces you to go back to the Hall of Heroes every time. So this run is going to be completed without chalices at all, which, if you've played this game before, you might you might be super worried because that sounds like ridiculously hard, but we have a lot of ways to kind of get around that.
Right. Yeah, would you...
This is almost low percent in that regard.
Yeah. We only use a handful of weapons here. Typically, when you get a chalice, it takes you to this Hall of Heroes, where you are there in this statued hall of heroes past, other friends on the battlefield who have died as you have, and they usually give you like a new weapon or a new life bottle, or some gold, I think. This is one of the only...
So,
I know, you go, Jaxler.
yeah, so coming into Cemetery Hill, this is kind of where we start to get to see a bunch of a little bit more tricky strats. So kind of the pace of the run is that this run is pretty straightforward. You know, just kind of follow the intended path and do a couple extra things on the side. For example, you're gonna see him kind of wedge himself between this pillar and the boulder, and that lets him clip right through and avoid having to go up the hill to grab this club. Now, if we play our cards right, unintentional pun, we're actually gonna keep this club throughout the rest of the run. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, the club weapon has a bit of durability to it. So every time that you successfully land a blow with it, it takes 1% damage until eventually it breaks. So something that you'll also see, and this will come up a bit more later in some of the combat heavy bits, is that Jacobo will go for jump swings instead of just staying on the ground and attacking, because if you miss, it will still take durability. Whereas if you jump, it actually won't take durability. Oh, you got that clip! That's insane.
Just
that's really hard.
all around.
And then, so that's a really hard clip right there. And then at the top of the hill, he's gonna go for a jump off this tree limb. Are you kidding me? Are you really gonna?
Just easy.
I feel awful at this game. Getting that first try.
Take notes, please.
If you've never played this game before, you might not realize like how tricky it is just to control Dan in general. So the fact that you hit that first try is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, that skips a little cutscene at the end where those gargoyles basically explode and you waste like 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, it was a very nice cemetery. Coming up next, we have the Hilton Mausoleum, where we have the first boss of the game, which is the Stained Glass Demon, or Glass Demon, to be shorter. It's a nice, interesting boss. Let's talk about it a little bit while Jacobo is just retrieving some runes, which are key items in this game. So the Glass Demon has a cycle with 3 heart attacks. No pun intended. So the heart attacks are just his heart showing up. It's his weak point, and he does a different attack 3 times. Then the cycle restarts. Between each heart phase, we have an invulnerable phase during which the Glass Demon will perform other attacks, like a jump in the middle of the arena, a jump on Dan's position, a sidestep, or throwing shards. And we're going to. The goal is to kill the Stained Glass Demon in the first cycle, to not waste time, and to manipulate him during the invulnerable phases. So this is what we know or think. Each attack during the invulnerable phases has like a weight, so you can pretty much predict what he's going to do depending on what he has already done during that phase. Like if he jumps. Sure. Go ahead. Please.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that because we haven't picked up any ranged weapons yet from Chalices, he's going to get a set of throwing knives for free from the game because he didn't pick up any in Dan's crypt.
That's right.
So we're going to give him a little bit of a second here to go for this. He's going to go for, if he does this right, he should get a cycle skip, so like Naz was talking about. So we'll see if he hits it.
Also, there is a nice thing called Kiss Skip, which Jacobo might get quite good at it in the end of the fight. So you can see when the heart is exposed, Jacobo is charging his daggers to deal as much damage as possible. Everything is this whole fight is very precise, like the amount of attacks he's doing, charge attacks, single attacks.
Yeah. So right now he's at a 104 health threshold right now, which is pretty much right where you want to be to try to get this phase skip. So let's see here. Looks good. Nice. Well done.
Nice.
And it looks like you might be positioned for key skip too. So ideally what you want to do is you want to kill him in such a way that you actually kind of move towards the center of the... Wow, that's insane. This is a really great start. So he picks up the key during the boss death animation, which saves a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I think it's like something around 8 to 10 seconds maybe. If you position Dan right there in the center, which the key falls on you. This is the last stage.
It'll never be something you like reset over, but yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. This is the last stage. We'll be doing the speed glitch I talked about. There is actually, and Jaxler and Nazzareno can back me up on this. There's a second speed glitch that lets Dan move fast. It turns out, and we're not sure how this works, but it turns out that the more donations we receive, the faster Dan moves. And we're not sure how it works. It's very strange to us, but just so you know, it's a second speed glitch in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been told that this game has a kind of a live tap into the tracker. So
Yeah, it's very strange.
I would give Jacobo your energy.
Yeah.
Technically,
So
it
right
was
here,
very ahead.
so right here, he's going to be going for a skip. He's going to jump to the coffin and then wedge himself between the coffin and the gate to clip through it to skip the yellow rune that you normally need to get in here. Now he's going to be jumping preemptively to avoid the enemies as much as possible. Health management is so critical that I don't even know where to begin. We'll probably bring it up again more later. But there's actually a little bit of a skip right there where we skip pushing some blocks to create a path forward. And now we're going into the Guardians of the Graveyard. What you're going to see Jacobo do is go pretty much face tank. If you are attacking these wolves while you're mashing the club, believe it or not, it'll actually hit like multiple consecutive times in a row per swing. So you see him finish it up super fast, and especially casually, that can be quite of a pain to fight. But
Yeah,
so
the boss gonna say the boss fight went well. We got the daring dash ability, so now I'll be mashing triangle to go faster. I'm actually gonna return to Dan's crypt, the first stage, to grab an extra life bottle. So this would actually be a good time for a few donations here.
yeah, maybe like one or two.
All right, well, we've got 80 billion of them. Paul and Emily send $100 and say, Jacobo is a legendary runner and a legendary friend. Your #1 fan, Paul.
Oh, thanks, Paul and Emily.
We have let's see, your old buddy Mac sends $100. He says, so excited to watch you go full pro on MediEvil at AGDQ this year in support of a great cause. Congrats on your hard-earned spot on the big stage, Jacob. Save the frames, kill Dan, donations go to Runner's Choice. Not quite sure how to end this message, so I'll just say, well, bye.
Thanks, Matt, for that wonderful montage of inside jokes there. Hope you're doing well.
All right, so going into the Enchanted Earth, this is where the run really starts to pick up. You saw that Jacobo safety saves here because if he dies, it puts him back to the menu. So he's doing that for marathon safety. What you're about to see here is what's known as the Enchanted Earth loop, and it's comprised of 2 glitches. The first thing that you'll see him do up in a second is called the inventory glitch. If you use the select button to open your inventory, and then with the inventory open, you double tap select, and this allows you to buffer movement between the select inputs. If you do this, if Jacobo does this properly, the select menu will be open while he's falling into the pit, which will prevent him from getting nailed by the kill trigger. Now what he's doing is he's holding directly to the right and waiting for a visual kill. You're gonna see Dan shift just like that and start holding up and to the right. What happened just there is called a loop, and that should put him, oh, you might have to back this up.
You can do this.
You got this.
Yes.
Oh, the save! Let's go!
Magic. That was beautiful.
That was extremely close.
This is good marathon luck. I have never, ever done that. Honestly, I've never done the save there, ever. That's not...
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
The hope is that you snap right into the trigger. Essentially what happens is with loops, if you go far enough below the map and there's no kill trigger to deal with you, the game will actually warp you up really high into the air wherever you are laterally. So what he did there is he looped on purpose to gain height so he could land right into the trigger, skipping all of the Enchanted Earth. Now we're gonna go straight into Pools of the Ancient Dead and collect the helmets that we need to normally access the exit of the level. It should be noted that it is possible to skip this little mini quest here, but the loop that you would have to do for it is so dangerous that no one even really bothers with it unless they're going for like super omega tryhard world record attempts. But this is like a really good example to kind of see where the daring dash movement goes into play. Jacobo has to be really careful here not to even get remotely close to the edge of these mounds here, or otherwise he will just immediately fall into the water and lose a whole life bottle's worth.
This is an incredibly perilous level. Like, even casually, you might remember this place being very slippery.
Yeah.
But this is pretty tough, like to control. Then is hard to control. Now we go for another loop.
Just jumping off
Jackson.
there.
Yeah,
It's for the drama. It's for the drama.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so once you get the inventory glitch here, again, you fall under the kill plane. And the purpose of this loop that Jacobo's going for is he's just holding to the right. And it will actually just, eventually, if you just hold right, it'll just land you right outside the gate. And normally, after you grab that last helmet at the end, they close the gates on you, and it's a big ambush with a bunch of enemies. But by doing this loop, you just land right outside the gate, and you're good to go. There's like so many variations on loops that you can do at that end of the level, but that one's really, like, that's the one we recommend for beginners because as long as you can do the inventory glitch, all you have to do is hold right. Are you gonna go for the boatman cutscene? Oh my gosh, you're going for it. You're nuts. Okay, and you just, yeah, show me up. Okay, nice. So normally what happens there is if you walk up to the boatman, he will tell you that he wants the soul helmets and he'll take you to the next level. But if you jump from up on top of that broken down castle, you can just avoid that text box trigger. So that was a really good job. That was a really clean pulls.
This would, before I go to the next stage, I'm gonna save it and we have time for another quick donation.
Okay, let me pull up the donation window. Here we go. Windfox470 sends $100 and says, "Hey there, Jacobo. I'm so happy to see this game finally make it into a GDQ. Thanks for being an amazing and chill guy to chat with. Good luck in your run and keep up the amazing work. Donation to Runner's Choice."
Awesome. Thanks, Windfox.
Okay, so now we have a transition stage, the Scarecrow Fields. It's a very fast-paced level. As you can see, we have a couple of clips. This is kind of tricky. You have to clip. The moment I say, so this is where the game starts branching. You can from the pools you can go up to the north to the late game locations, and from the Scarecrow Fields you go to the east and visit the other 5 stages where you can collect the 2 dragon gems that are used to later obtain the dragon armor, which is necessary for the famous Dragon Gate.
Yeah, so at the end of like each of the 2 branching paths is a dragon gem, which you turn into a late game level called Crystal Caves in order to activate a mini boss with a dragon. So, all right, a little bit of a kind of backup strat, well, safety strat, but this is still a kind of a big skip. Normally you can't get to that portion of Scarecrow Fields until you solve a puzzle. But if you time daring dash jump, so you start a daring dash and then immediately jump, you can actually clear the cornfields there, which would normally instantly kill you. Are you actually going for? Why are you going for that?
Of course, he can do this. Come on.
Oh my gosh, you're
there
insane. That is such a scary clip. That big giant cheese wheel there does a lot of damage, and that's gonna let him just run straight to the end of Scarecrow Fields. Excellently done.
Perfectly handled. Now we have Sleeping Village. This is a very
well, I go to
complex
Pumpkin Gorge
stage.
first.
Oh, you're going Pumpkin Gorge.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
cool.
I'm sorry.
Well,
sorry.
Naz was
Pumpkin
talking about
Gorge.
the different branches here. Nazzareno goes to Sleeping Village next, which is a different stage, but I go here to Pumpkin Gorge.
Yeah, it's a preference. If you want to get away with one of the trickiest stages quickly, you go for the Sleeping Village. If you're Jacobo, and you're very confident, you can go with whatever stage you want. Like Jacobo could save the pools for later if you want to.
All right, really cool skip right here. He's gonna do another dash jump into this corner to get out of bounds, so that he can hopefully jump over this hut and skip into the later portion without having to go back and grab a key. And then he's gonna try to do another similar type of dash jump to get on top of this terrain, and then is gonna, oh, are you going for the, oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a relatively new strat. So he does a dash jump off of that to get to the middle hill, and that skips having to get another room. So that one can be really scary. You have to set it all up if you miss it again. And he's also gonna pick up an iron shield here. Shields block attacks, as you might expect from such types of weaponry. And that's really important for avoiding damage. One of like the big underrated things about being good at this run is resource management. But before we kind of get more into that, let's see if we hit, okay. That's fine.
No problem. No problem. He was going for what we call time rune skip, which is a very precise jump, which lets us skip this phase where we have to slash these routes in order to lower the main route, be able to pick up the rune legally. So if you know the game casually, legally, If you know the game
wrong.
casually, you can see that we are skipping a lot of things in every single stage. The runes, the mini puzzles, the secondary quests. This is the whole game. We are just skipping everything, or pretty much everything, with this skips, climbing the ledges, walking on colliders where we are not intended
Oh yeah. And it also can't be understated how undergeared we are, at least for what the game expects. We have a small sword, a wooden club, and a couple of throwing knives. That's pretty much
it's
it.
insane. The weaponry in this game is massive, and we are not accessing to it. Like we don't care about the big weapons which are obtained by collecting the chalices, as Jaxler mentioned earlier. We don't care about that, but
Yeah.
there is plenty of weapons that we could use, and they just
we don't
they're
need
just time loss. We
Yeah.
don't need them.
This stage, we're essentially doing a boss fight, and before we get to the pumpkin serpent, I'm just gonna burst through some pods here. So this would actually be another good moment for a couple of donations.
We're gonna have a few donations for you. Uni sends $50 and says, Jacob is my cousin. I remember playing MediEvil on the Pizza Hut PS1 demo disc. Awesome to the only true way to play, really. Awesome to see him show his knowledge of this gem. Love GDQ. You want blueberry?
Oh, what's up, Joe?
Laura and Matt send $150 and say, Jacobo the Chocobo at HDQ, 2021 is already better than 2020. We'll get MediEvil on cancer while you get MediEvil on MediEvil. Good luck on the run.
What's up, Laura and Matt? Thank you. We can do one more too.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Kavaris sends $25 and simply says, MediEvil, great game, yes.
It's true.
Good.
It's true.
Short and sweet. Doman sends $50 and says, my favorite event of the year. MediEvil was one of my first PS games. Such a thrill. Best of luck to all runners, and thank you for all the good work.
Thank you for your donation.
Yeah, so at the end there, you saw that Jacobo got one of the 2 dragon gems. In order to actually unlock that, you have to bring the Witch's Talisman all the way from the hill to Cemetery Hill in order to be able to talk to the Pumpkin Witch and get that. So that's one of the 2 major quests that we need to get for the dragon armor, and now we're going to be heading into Sleeping Village.
Yes, the whole game is actually connected by all these quests. So you're intended to revisit various locations with new items. So Sleeping Village is a very complex stage, and we are going to skip everything of it with a couple of clips. We are collecting a single item only to prevent a crash, like which is the bronze bust. That's the English name.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
there's several key
the
items in the
statue of the
stage.
mayor. If we don't pick this up, the game will crash, which is not okay.
Yeah.
But we could do this so much quicker without the crash. We are skipping a whole puzzle which involves making a cross out of this piece of bronze, and it takes forever. There is another item that should be used in the Enchanted Earth. We don't care about it.
I didn't
Enchanted
even know
Earth
that
is
was a
over.
thing. That was so sick.
Enchanted Earth, come on.
That
Yes.
jump over the rail, that was super
Yeah,
cool.
that's just, I call that the swag clip. It doesn't save any time. It's just nice to have it in a marathon. That's all.
Sweat.
It's for style points. It's for style points.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now we have the gate skip or gate clip. It's a nice clip as the name implies. Hopefully Jacobo will get this very quickly. There
Nice.
you go.
Doing the
There you
backup.
go.
Not out of the woods yet, though.
No problem. This is very finicky. Jacob is trying to find his way back in bounds, and the geometry is not helping. You can see Dan snapping and being pushed all around the place because the geometry out of bounds is very weird. There is plenty of strange colliders. We don't know why.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
There you go.
So basically, kind of right there, you're wedging yourself between 2 invisible walls from out of bounds in order to clip Dan back in bounds, because walls are 2-way in this game.
So Lazy Santa, you can hit the trigger of the, I don't know the name. without jumping.
Yeah, there's
Into it.
a chimney there, and
The chimney.
I think Nazzareno discovered that.
Yeah,
you can
I think
just
that's
dash
correct.
into the chimney instead of jumping in it, and I called it Lazy Santa because you're just hitting the chimney instead of getting inside.
Yeah.
Might be one of the best strat names I've ever heard of.
Well,
what's this-
Jacobo has plenty of fans.
What's this
Okay.
next stage coming up? What's going on here?
Oh, Asylum Grounds. So this is normally one of the longest levels in the game, and Jacobo's gonna go for an incredibly difficult strat to hopefully skip almost the entirety of the level. I cannot understate how difficult this next section is. So what Jacobo's gonna do at the very start of the level is there's gonna be a hedge that's been trimmed in the shape of a unicorn. And so what he's going to try to do is actually jump off a rock to get on top of it and stand on almost like pixels wide of a surface on top of it in order to start making his way out of bounds. So I'm going to give him a little bit of quiet time here so he can get up onto it. Good. So now he's going to try to dash jump onto a pillar. And from there, if he does the next sequence of jumps correctly, he can get on top of the hedge maze in the next section.
Keep
Good.
in mind, we're not intended to be here, so there are
yeah.
all colliders blocking the way. The jumps are very, very intentional here. This is the single hardest piece of platforming in the entire
yeah.
game.
It should also be mentioned that getting a dash jump off the unicorn here, like I said, is freaking impossible. And on top of that, because of the way the geometry works, once you get the dash jump, you actually have to curve it around so you can land on the collision you need. Yeah, and sometimes it can look like you hit it, but like sometimes you'll kind of phase through the collision. It's really strange.
Yeah, Dan has a little bit of inertia, so when he lands, especially when he does a heavy landing, he tends to slip.
All right, this is the scary part. You got this.
Oh, I'm gonna give it another shot. There's
Yeah.
there's plenty of time.
Very close.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. So
There's this
that
spot. Oh, sure.
if all yeah. All right, we'll be quiet while he goes through this.
No, y'all keep talking. Keep it up.
Oh, okay, I'll keep talking then. So the really scary thing right there is once you get onto the pillar geometry, you have to dash jump to the big archway hedge and then jump to another hedge. And if that wasn't hard enough, you also have like this weird like part of the grounds that's like shooting fire at you, and you're having to juggle all these things at the same time, and it's just an absolute nightmare. This is where good runs come to die, as if you can't already tell.
One last shot, and then we'll get the added benefit of seeing all of the wondrous stage that is the Asylum Grounds.
Yeah, like I said, it can't be understated how ridiculously hard this trick is. And even once he gets on top of the hedge maze in the next section, it's not over there either.
That's okay.
Then,
That is all
then
right.
use the,
Yep, so we're gonna move on then. Good try. Mad props for going for it. It's so scary. But at this point, it's faster to just go ahead and complete the puzzles as intended here. So,
and we get introduced to the most charismatic character of the whole game, which is Jekyll the Green, this gentleman gargoyle, which has some puzzles for us. And we are going to solve them very easily because we know the solutions. But yeah, this stage is a big puzzle ground, and we're just going around with there is plenty of enemies with stupidly big colliders.
yeah.
Yeah, the advantage of the Asylum skip, which I was doing an attempt there, is that you get to basically skip all of this by jumping across this whole hedge maze. So, like Jaxler was saying, there are a lot of tricky jumps, a lot of tricky platforming, but the advantage is that you save like 5 minutes or something and you skip all these puzzles. Even though you also then miss out on this wondrous character whose wonderful poetry we're going to be skipping, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's also like interesting to note that if you manage to get the skip to this hedge maze part, and you fall in certain spot, or if you fall, period, I think, off the hedges,
You get
it's a
some-
soft lock.
Yes,
Like you just
yes.
can't do anything at it, and you just have to exit game and go back to the main menu. And so if you didn't have a save, you're screwed. So obviously, of course, we saved the save before this level.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, this part's rather straightforward. There's not really anything we can do to speed it up other than going for Asylum Ground Skip. So this would be a really good time to throw in some donations.
Oh yeah, please.
Well, I have donations to throw. Zoe sends $25 and says, "Hey Jake, you're an amazing gamer and an amazing cousin. Love you. Less than 3."
Love you too, Zoe.
Rayan sends $25 and says, "Can't wait to see MediEvil get destroyed at a GDQ. It kicked my behind when I was 8 and I loved it so much. Thanks to the runners and staff."
This is a very
Kona
hard
Rican
game.
sends $50 and says, "I remember playing MediEvil on the PSP and then being shown the original PlayStation version. I'm unsure which version is better. Perhaps I can get opinions from anyone watching?"
My opinion, and this is actually something we'll bring up a bit later, is this game actually got a remake in 2019 on the PS4. So if you don't have like a PlayStation 1 or 2 lying around, but you really want to experience like what drew so many people to this game like 20 odd years ago, it's a really, really good remake that makes it a lot of quality of life improvements. So I would highly recommend checking that out if you have a PS4 or PS5.
Also, you can unlock the original game on the PS4 remake by just completing it, I guess.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
So and don't I highly recommend this game. Like this is a gem, but
Yes.
it's that kind of game that no one seems to care about. Like everyone is talking about it when you ask. When you ask, and you like, do you remember MediEvil? Yes, I do, definitely. Beautiful game, but no one really cares about it. And it's a shame because this game is beautiful. Now you're seeing it being completely destroyed, skipped. But this game is so vast. The stages are all different. The story is intriguing. The characters are beautiful. The graphics, the visuals. This is a beautiful game, and it's a shame that it doesn't have the attention it deserves. And
Yeah,
of
and
course, oh sorry.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'll go then. And another thing too, more so from a speedrunning standpoint, like this game is just really fun to run. Like the daring dash movement is like even though like you're just pressing triangle to go fast, there's a bit of like technique to it. Like you can mash it, but like a lot of the runners like place their dashes in very specific ways to make sure that they can cruise by enemies, and it's just there's something about the daring dash in this game that is just it feels so good.
Yeah.
It's game feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I know. I totally agree. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's a very nice speed game. So, and we have a verdant Discord server where new things are being discovered with a very solid pace, I'd say. We have some new skips that were discovered like 2 days ago. Jacobo is not going to implement them because
No.
they're new. I mean, but just to say this game is 22 years old, and we are still
Yeah.
discovering things, and it's a beautiful game.
Yeah, and it should also be mentioned. Naz was talking a bit about the community. We'll bring this up towards the end of where you can go find it, but we have a community Discord for the whole MediEvil series. So whether you want to try this game, MediEvil 2, the MediEvil remake, or the PSP version, if you somehow have a means to even capture that, pretty much the whole MediEvil speedrunning community is really tight-knit and extremely friendly. Like, we're totally... like, for example, when I started running this game, I'm actually relatively new to this game. Jacobo actually sat down with me and helped me learn some of the really tricky loops. So, first of all, I mean, shout-outs to Jacobo, but at the same time, you know, that's just the kind of community that we have. It's very, very friendly, very, very laid back, but, you know, we're all still really passionate about this game.
Yes, definitely. So now we are solving this nice chess puzzle. We just have to move the various pieces to their relative spot. And then we have the inside the asylum, which is a
Hi.
special stage.
There we go.
I don't know, should I talk about it? Jackson, do you want to?
I can go for it. One of the things inside the asylum is one of those weird things because it's a completely combat-oriented level, but it's still really, really impressive, even though you're not doing all the flashy daring dash movement. This is a level, and you're gonna see him save right here because this level can even after Asylum Ground skip, can kill your run if you're running this category. It's just filled with a ton of enemies that are really hard to deal with. So because of the limited durability on the club, you're actually going to see him use that dinky old small sword that we got at the very start of the run. Now, he has to be very careful here because the zombie enemies, if they're close enough to you, they'll actually start charging a lot faster than you would expect. which means you have to time your sword swings in advance so that they don't hit you. On top of that, he's going to be using the built-up charge attack on the sword as sort of a crowd control and general go-to kill option. But you have to be very careful with this move too, because it doesn't go in a straight circle around you, like a lateral circle. If you look very closely, you can actually see the sword kind of tilts. What the game is trying to do is it's trying to help you by tilting the sword towards the enemies, but oftentimes that can be a hindrance because sometimes you want the back of your sword to hit an enemy behind you so you can stay safe. So he's spacing his Dan in a very specific way to try to account for all these different variables while also trying to kill as many zombies as possible with the same sword swing to make it faster.
Yeah. Also, this is a nice example of why how our inventory is limited right now. Like we have only the first weapons to deal with these hordes of enemies.
Yeah, and on top of that, we don't have a super great shield. Like, we have the silver shield, but that isn't always really helpful here, especially because we mostly use the shield to kind of allow us to kind of just move through the game without normally worrying about the enemies. It's also kind of interesting, like, this room in particular is really, really scary. There's bats flying around, and then on top of that, you also have the zombie enemies that are coming at you pretty quick in an even smaller room. And then towards the end here, once he kills the last amount of zombies, he's keeping track based on where they spawn of how, kind of approximately how many zombies are left. You're gonna get the charger enemies, which move really fast and are really hard to deal with. And like I mentioned, he's gonna be using that jumping club attack. It'll actually give him a little bit of a window where the enemy kind of runs underneath him, and then he can just kind of club him over the head without the risk of taking any damage. Again, if you die here, you have to start the whole combat level all over again from like the start screen. So that's why you see him safety save here. But he handled that like a champ. So nothing to worry about here.
The zombies are actually they do more damage to you in this stage than they normally do. I think those headless zombies do like 80, and the regular ones do 50, which is a huge chunk. It should also be said that normally when we're doing like PB attempts or something, we usually just get 3 life bottles, which is such little life. I got 2 extra bottles on top of that for the run, of course, to be safe.
Yeah, you can easily die here. If the asylum grounds don't kill the run, this is the next run killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have to be very careful about club damage too, because we want to make sure that we have the club all the way up until we get to Crystal's cave. So he's choosing specific enemies to kill with it, particularly these laughing enemies. I don't remember what they're named, but they tend to be really annoying to deal with the small sword. So what he's doing here in this room is staying on the left side. There's actually lava that'll keep most of the zombies on the right side while keeping the chunkier enemies on the left. So that way he can spawn a ton of zombies on the other side and keeping them limited on the left to 1-to-1. And then once the game says, okay, that's too many zombies, he can kill all of them in almost 1 or 2 swings and deal with them much, much easier. But unfortunate there, but there's a bunch of life backups, so not a huge deal.
Yeah, we have
just
way more
just
life
go for a swim.
Yeah, we'll be fine. And then right at the end here, breaks the box. Yeah, sorry?
Oh, no, I was going to say, there's a... I'm not getting the chalice. There's a fountain right there where you can refill your bottles. I'm going to stop there just to be safe. And while I do that, we can read a couple more donations.
Good. I love reading donations.
Great.
Archon sends $50 and says, Uncle Jakey. Josephine and Liam send their love and luck. Open the chest. Blow. Love, Erica and Robert.
Thanks, Erica and Robert.
Brandon sends $50 and says, I always wanted MediEvil as a kid, but my parents wouldn't let me play it because they thought it was somehow evil? None of my friends at the time had a copy either, so I was in my 20s before I ever got to play it. I made sure to stay up to see this run, and it's totally worth it.
Awesome. I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, so at this point in the run, we have both of the dragon gems now from successfully completing Inside the Asylum and the Pumpkin Serpent. So now we're going to be heading back into the late game areas to the lake. Now, the lake is kind of an infamous level if you've ever played this game casually. It's really, really hard. The platforms that you have to stand on, especially over the bodies of water, are really small. It's really easy to fall off. And on top of that, you have these fish enemies shooting water at you. And the water also just instantly takes a full life bottle out of you. So it can be kind of a nightmare, especially casually and if you're going for a 100% run. But what you're going to see him do is do a specific set of daring dashes here that are kind of pre-planned. And you're going to see the shield coming into great effect so he can get by the enemies with minimal damage. And now this is going to either blow your mind or kind of hurt you internally if you really hated this level. He's just going to jump at the wall. The game will simply not be able to resist. He jumps over the door and the lake is done. Really good job.
Goodbye.
We skipped again. We skipped a lot of things in this stage. This stage is big, massive, and like I don't know where to start from.
Yeah, it's like several minutes long. Where do we even begin?
Yeah, it's a very big stage. Now we have Crystal Caves, which is slightly smaller. This is where we are going to use our good old dragon gems. There is a cave inside this cave where a dragon lives. This works in English, I swear. And,
Yeah.
and you can summon this dragon by using the 2 dragon gems. Then you fight the dragon with what remains of your club and get the dragon armor.
Yeah, so it's important to note that it's really critical that you have durability left on the silver shield there when you go into the room with the spinning gems and the green rune. If you've never played this game before, those spinning crystals deal a ton of damage, so you have to be very careful. So this mini boss fight is really pretty straightforward, except for jumping. Depth perception, especially for early like PlayStation titles, can kind of be rough. But all he has to do here is do this kind of scripted sequence and grab the star rune at some point, and he's actually going to leave and re-enter to force the dragon to move to a more favorable position when we want to actually grab the dragon armor pickup. So he's gonna. All you have to do is hit your club on the ground, and that'll stun him, and then he'll get the dragon armor off this last hit. So again, if you're playing the typical any percent route, like we mentioned, it is possible to skip the sequence and do a level loop straight to the end, but we're not going to be doing that because of the category that we're showing off tonight.
Yeah. You have to get here and pick up the dragon armor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this stage would be so faster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go for a backup health refill here, keep the enemies off him. Do you have something you want to say, Jacobo?
No, you guys are doing a great job. There's time for another couple donations before we get to the next stage.
Alrighty. Star Shaker sends $25 and says less than 3, less than 3, less than 3. Desolation sends $25 and says MediEvil is still to this day my favorite PS1 game. Thank you for breaking this and blowing my mind open. Love the run.
Good taste.
Chris sends $25 and says I love MediEvil. I played the original game every year around Halloween. Can't wait to see it done quick. Thanks to Jacobo and the GDQ team for making this happen.
Thanks to everybody for watching and donating.
Yeah, it means a lot to us.
Yeah.
So as just a quick note here, this is where the dragon gate that we've been talking about is. The dragon armor actually makes you immune to fire, so we can just run right through there, hit the button. He's actually going for a really risky strat here. If you go too close to the middle of the room, you summon this giant serpent who will not stop trying to run you down. So he's got to go grab a rune and hit a button or I think just a rune, right?
Yeah.
Before the serpent comes and owns his entire existence. So this is a level that's all about the movement. This is where this is one of my favorite levels to actually run through, just because like the daring dash movement you do here is really, really fun.
It does feel very smooth when you can do it well. Sometimes a serpent will be really on your tail and you take a lot of damage, like Jackson was saying. Other times, though, he's right behind you and for some reason has decided to be kind. I'm not sure what drives that.
Yeah, he decided to be nice for you, which is really nice because the higher health you have, the way riskier you can take it towards the end game. But of course, we're going to safety save. Haunted Ruins, one of my favorite levels in the whole run. This level has 2 level loops in it, actually, that Jacobo's going to be going for. Now, at the start of the level here, casually there is a puzzle where you have to guide some chickens over to a sort of pile of seeds, so that way it takes the pressure off of a button. Yeah, we're going to be skipping those with a really sick level loop. So he's going to set up the inventory glitch, or at least try to.
Or fail it.
Then I will try to explain. And the hard thing about these level loops is again, if you fail them, you kind of fall into the pit and lose a full life bottle. Okay, so he's gonna dash 8 times straight forward, and then what he's gonna do is he's gonna look for a visual cue when Dan kind of disappears from the screen and try to hold up left.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he got right into the
Beautiful,
trigger.
beautiful.
So there is a backup if you don't go into the trigger right away, but the fact that he actually landed that straight into the goalpost, I can't describe to you how ridiculously tricky that is. Because he took a life bottle loss here, he's gonna go ahead and refill here. So not only does that skip the chicken-related puzzle, it also puts you right next to the room where you get King Peregrine's crown. So he can just deliver it right to him and start the next sequence of the level. It's to be noted that even though with a level loop you could reach the end of the level technically, the triggers work in such a way in this level that we need to see this cutscene first.
Again, we are sequence breaking the heck out of the stage.
Oh,
right now.
absolutely. So right here, what he's gonna do is he's gonna use the super OP dragon armor to push these 2 stone golems into the pits. And then he's as he exits this area, he's going to be going for another level loop. Now you saw him pick it up, but using the green rune here is actually pretty slow. So he's going to start up the inventory glitch again in order to get another fall into the abyss. So he got it first try, and so now he's going to be holding up. What he's going to be trying to do is guide Dan while he's falling in order to get to the end sequence of the level. Now, you'll see the camera pan right there. So right there, again, with level loops, if you fall far enough, it'll teleport you back up to the top of the map. So that's when you see the camera jitter there, that means that he's teleported back up to the top, and now we just wait for him to fall right to the cannonball.
He tested the wall there. Was it hard?
What's
Nice, that was
Yeah,
really, really good Haunted Ruins.
it was
I
weird.
can't-
Oh, sorry. No, if you land on the catapult, it'll launch you, but without the that wall being broken, you won't end the stage. So what happened there was that Dan got like smacked against the wall. That's why it was a weird kind of jitter.
Yeah, it lost a little bit of time, but it looked incredibly hilarious, so I think that's a net gain for everyone on the stream here.
Agreed.
Okay, now he's gonna safety save again. Really sick level, both casually and in the speedrun, the ghost ship. Now, this is normally a pirate ship where you have to fight your way to the end of the stage and fight against the pirate captain of the ship, so you can take the ship up to Xerox Lair. But he's going to be going for probably one of the scariest, but also sickest level loops in the whole run. If he does this right, he'll actually go straight to the steering wheel of the ship and skip right by the boss, deloading him and going right into the cutscene. So he's going to skip these lines of dialogue, and then we're going to explain what's going on here. So what he's going to do is he's actually going to jump right off the railing and immediately out of bounds. The kill point isn't actually enough to cover him. So what he's going to do here is hold to the right until a very specific visual cue. And once he knows when this visual cue is based on just practice and timing, he'll hold down and to the right for a little bit, and then after a couple seconds back to the right. And if he did this properly, he should land right at the end of the level. Oh, that's really, he almost hit it. But one of the issues with level loops in this game is with the way the game's camera system works, the game will try to rotate the camera so that it's keeping an eye on Dan. There's a bunch of preset camera rotations that the game has programmed. So as a result, when you're doing a level loop, the game gets like really messed up with those scripted camera sequences. And as a result, when you're doing a level loop, the camera will actually flip on you, which will change the trajectory of Dan during the level loop. So most of our setups for level loops try to take this into account, but if you're even a little bit off, it can completely throw you off. So he almost adjusted for it. It was really, really close, but unfortunately landed inside the floor, which is a soft lock. So again, that's why we save before doing a lot of these level loops, because they're so scary. So
Yeah, it's
all right,
also
let's
why
see if he hit.
it's also why the estimate is what it is, because it could take a few tries to get some loops.
Yeah, and this is one we can't just like skip. Play the level casually. It's so long and we're so under-equipped that we need to go for this loop. So let's see if he gets it this time.
That's better.
Yeah, it looks a little bit better already.
3. Oh, come on, Dan.
Darn. That stinks. So
We need your energy, chat. Chat, we need the energy for Dan's loop to work.
yeah, like we said at the beginning of the run, this game is tapped into the donation tracker at all times. So if you want to give Jacobo your energy, keep on donating, keep on raising money for PCF, y'all. I know we can do this and start pushing our way towards 2 million.
Speaking of which, as I go about this on the third try, let's get those donations coming. Let's get the inspiration for Dan alive and well here.
All right, you heard them, chat. Let's get those donations coming. By the way, let me check real quick on where we are for the Oddworld incentive. All right, for Oddworld, we are at $1,680 out of 3,000, so we're over halfway there. Let's go, go, go. Let's help Dan. Let's help Oddworld.
Yeah.
So, Anonymous sends $10 and says, MediEvil was my first PlayStation game when I bought a PlayStation in 1999. Becker sends $15 and says, MediEvil is amazing. This was the first game I ever got for my PlayStation, and I've been waiting years to see it at AGDQ. As a kid, the Sleeping City gave me nightmares, so it's great to see it gone through this quickly. Don't scare people. Patrick sends $100 and says, if Sir Dan can save Gallowmere single-handed from beyond the grave, then I can work an 8-hour shift tomorrow on 4 hours sleep. I wouldn't miss a run of my favorite PS1 game for anything. Bentley Bunn sends $10 and says, I have so many fond memories of watching my older brother play MediEvil as a kid. It makes me so happy to see it here on AGDQ. Good luck to the runner, and thank you to the staff for always running such wonderful events. Less than 3. There's a lot of MediEvil fans showing up for it.
Awesome. Good taste. So it should also be noted there that when he sets up the out of bounds, he has to be kind of careful because if he's too close to the hull of the ship, he could either hit the kill point or actually hit a loading trigger for an earlier room. So you have to be kind of precise with that dash jump there. All right, you got this.
I think
that's stuck in the side.
I think the jumps are too close to the ship, so I'll just have to jump farther out. But there's
Yeah,
we're good.
that's what
We're
I was.
good.
That's what I was going to suggest. Your setup looks fine otherwise. But yeah, I cannot state enough how ridiculously hard some of these loops are. Especially the ghost ship. This is if Haunted
This is
Ruins
terrible.
doesn't kill your run, this one will.
This is terrible.
Yeah,
And
the,
even with all these attempts, this is still way faster than doing
Minutes
the
faster.
stage as
Minutes.
it's intended.
oh yeah.
Yeah, the stage takes forever. I don't even remember how to play the stage.
Yeah, the
Do you get into the ship? Like, what do you do exactly? I don't
yeah,
remember.
the joke among us is that no one ever sees this stage. It's just like a mod. So
No one.
no.
No, you hardly get here during a PB attempt.
No. Oh no. Sometimes I don't get past the menu, the level select.
Yeah, the first cutscene. Remember the good old days when we didn't know how to skip cutscenes?
I know. I missed those days. So that was a good jump, but I let go too soon and I activated the kill trigger there.
Yeah, so something that we didn't mention about level loops is you actually want to hold the circle button, which is your jump, while you're doing this. Pretty much whenever you go out of bounds, because I don't know why, but sometimes the game will just kill you if you're not holding circle. It's kind of weird. And again, getting out of bounds here is really tricky if you have to go for it more than once, because those enemies are super obnoxious.
Yeah, and it's weird when you're jumping behind the mast there. It's kind of hard to keep track of where Dan is.
Yeah, because the screen pretty much completely goes blank, so you have to listen to audio cues or pretty much know your visual cues to a T.
Oh man, that's so
That
close.
stinks. So
That
that
was
was
close.
he pretty much did everything right, just had a weird little mishap there. I believe in you, dude. Yeah, that should have worked. I frankly I don't know what happened there. that looked perfect.
There is a
but-
backup for that kind of situations, but it works only if you are on the left corner, I think. You can save it if you land like floating in midair on the left of the ship. If you are
Yeah.
in the middle or to the right, you get pushed on the wrong side. It's terrible. But again,
yeah,
we are actually trying to land from the top of the game world onto a specific spot of the stage. It's very precise.
Yeah, and it should also be noted that this level loop, you see this like pirate boss here as well. By doing this level loop, it just causes him to despawn. We don't really know why, but when he despawns, you can kind of just beat the level. It's pretty hilarious. That was a good out of bounds. So let's see if we get the loop here. Come on, Dan, you can do it.
3. The nightmare continues.
Yeah, the nightmare continues.
It's okay. It's all right. We're gonna get it.
Yeah, we got this.
For good ship.
We can actually. You can keep reading some more donations. That'll
Go for it.
help Dan
Keep
here.
the nerves down.
There,
Yeah.
it fixes the video game. It makes it easier.
It does. It
What it
does.
does.
It's proven.
As Nab sends $25, it says long-time watcher, first-time donor. Keep up the good job. Gaming community and cancer need your effort, GDQ. Thanks to all the people on the staff and all the runners. Cheers from Italy. Another less than 3. Anonymous sends $25 and says, love celebrating GDQ with my wonderful partner. Jordo Nardo sends $25 and says, I've never played or even watched MediEvil before, but this run is so much fun. I can tell the Jacobo and the couch absolutely love this game, and their energy and excitement are contagious. Thank you for running this game.
You're welcome.
Dirk sends $25 and says, MediEvil is a game that I have a lot of fond memories of from when I was younger. I can't wait to see it get demolished. Good luck on the run, and thanks to everyone making this event happen. Looking forward to seeing Celeste on a dance pad later too. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to that Oddworld incentive. We're at 1,685 out of 3,000. Let's donate to Oddworld. Let's do it. I know you all can do it. It will make Daniel go faster, and you get an incentive from it.
It's true.
That's a twofer.
I think you turned too early, but I'm not sure. I don't know anything about this.
No, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I turned too early, too.
Yeah.
The big problem here is that we have visual cues like the stars that you can see, then you can see them in the very first part of the loop, but then it's pitch black. And
Right.
Yeah.
we know what you can see. We're just following like a setup of dashes in specific directions. That's all we know we have to do. And
Yeah.
the timing is very tight. We're like the setup that Noob Killer Roof, which is the world record holder on emulator, does includes like following, looking up the live split counter, your timer counter, because you have to count for like 4, then 3 seconds. You have to be very precise.
Yeah. Alright, this is already looking better than the previous one.
1, 2, 3.
Right, okay. So, this looks good. Let's see.
I think I got it. Yes!
Yes! Let's go! So you
Yes,
see the
there you
fade
go.
out there?
That is
Hole
a
in one,
beautiful,
right in the
beautiful
trigger.
one.
We're gonna
Alright.
definitely save it, but your
Yeah.
donations help. That's proof
No,
right there.
you
Your
don't need to
donations-
save. You got this. Don't save.
Yeah.
No, please save.
There is no need for saving.
I don't need any more health conditions going awry.
Oh god.
Another thing we tend to do is just to pretend to be bad at the game, just to heighten the catharsis that comes later. So this is all.
Oh, yeah.
This is all planned.
So right after one of the hardest levels in the run, we have one of the easiest, the entrance hall. We kind of theorized that there might be more. There might have been more planned here, but normally you can kind of just go straight through to the end here, and it's real. Even in 100% runs, it's really straightforward. So, all right, now we're going into the time device. So this is another level where we're going to do a level loop. Which, sounds scary, but this one has a bit of an easier setup than the ghost ship, where you kind of just throw yourself at it.
Oh, yeah.
So again, he's going to safety save just in case. But what he's going to do is immediately at the start of the level, he's going to tiptoe to the right. So you see the tiptoe animation on the ledge, and then go for the inventory glitch. So he gets the inventory glitch, and now he waits until a very certain point in the fall. He waits for the camera to kind of stop turning to start moving after the level loop. Now he's Now you're gonna see at the end of the time device, there's normally this sort of train track section. So once he waits for the camera to pan, he's gonna hold between down and down left after getting a certain camera trigger. This looks good.
Perfect.
Boom,
Perfect.
first try right
There
into
you
the
go.
trigger. Excellently done.
Did you see the stage? I didn't.
I can't say I did either.
I don't know. There was a stage there. Now it's gone.
So that was the last loop of the game. It skips quite a long stage, and now we're at the final level.
Okay.
Yeah, so now we're going into Xerox Lair, so this is the final boss. And you're gonna see him safety save again, which I know it seems excessive, but even the final boss doesn't pull any punches, especially this first bit, which is kind of infamous for being a little bit obtuse as to how it works. So we're kind of gonna explain how it works. Basically, you get something from this chest called the Good Lightning. And so with sort of the arc of like the story of this game, Dan's army that he led 100 years ago into combat is going to resurrect. And Xerox is going to spawn a bunch of these enemies here. Now, we can't deal direct damage to these enemies. What we actually do is we have our good buddies, the Knights of Gallowmere, actually fight them off for us. So what Jacobo's going to do is use the Good Lightning to actually heal our allies here. Without any intervention, they would normally all just die and you just fail the level. But with the power of all of the chalices that we totally collected over the run, we're gonna summon a bunch of friends here to help us. Yeah, that's one really funny thing about this run is you're supposed to get chalices to summon these guys, but you still kind of summon them anyway.
And as you can see, your life gets drained
Yes.
while you're healing your soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah, so
No, y'all go ahead.
Please.
I was just gonna say there is kind of a minimum life vial that you need to have in order to be able to even attempt this, because at some point you will run out of life just because you're using the Good Lightning so much. And this is something that can be really tricky to time, even for casual players who go out of where to get all of the hidden life bottles as well.
Yeah. You're supposed to get here with like 8 life bottles, and in a speedrun you can do this legally with 3 life bottles.
Yeah, for lack of a better term. It's also important, he's trying to minimize the amount of time he's spending healing, not just because he has a bit of like a life situation he has to deal with, but your Gallowmere Knights also don't attack while they're being healed. So he's trying to keep them healthy, but also heal them as minimally as possible. And then once at least one of them manages to defeat one of Xerox's minions, it'll become kind of a snowball effect where they'll all start working together. Yeah, you can already start to see some of the knights go down, and now it's a lot easier to deal with.
Yes. Another easy way to deal with this fight is using the soldier despawn, which is a nice skip which involves the inventory glitch again, like the loops, and makes the Fazgus, which are the Xerox soldiers,
Should be in the clear.
only half of them. The problem of the skip is that on console it makes the game crash.
Yeah,
So
so
it's only an emulator viable, and you can do it halfway. On console, you have to do I guess in theory you have to do one more adjustment to do this, but
it's not worth it.
the point is that you spawn half of the enemy soldiers. You have all your soldiers, then so you can do the fight without even using the Good Lightning, because then it's completely unbalanced in your favor.
Yeah.
It's very easy, very fast.
Yeah, you're also going to see that for every soldier that managed to live the fight, you get a free extra energy vial out of it. So that's really, really critical. Hopefully he won't have to rely on the energy wells that are positioned in the corners of the map. But now we're going into phase 2, where he summons this guy, and this is probably the easiest part. Even though it looks super intimidating, it turns out that the fiery breath and the dragon armor is super overpowered. So you're gonna see him immediately equip that as soon as this fight starts, and just watch, he'll go to town.
Also, this is Lord Kardok, which is supposed to be the one who killed Dan, if I remember correctly. So this
Yeah, I
is
think
like
so.
a very cool fight. This is Dan's revenge, so to speak.
It should also be noted that in the new 80% route, this fight, crazily enough, is done with just a club.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
incredibly scary.
The club works like pretty much like the knife in RE2 remake, so it deals damage constantly.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
We're also approaching the end of the run. We're fighting Zarok, who is the main antagonist here, and time will be on the last hit of Zarok whenever it's reduced to 0 HP.
Yeah,
Which hopefully
so
it's coming up soon.
which hopefully should be quick, but unfortunately this is kind of a luck-dependent factor that comes in right at the end of the run. There's only one kind of attack where Zarok will lose kind of his invincibility shielding after he transforms into whatever the heck this is, and he's gonna do the same tactic where he kind of jumped and activated the fire breath when he gets an opening. That way he can deal damage even faster than you would with a normal fire breath. So he immediately got an opening, which is really good luck. Trying to keep him. Get ready.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be time there.
One more hit should do it.
Come on, Zarok.
Come on.
Come on.
He's being really rude. He's being really sassy right now.
He really is. And time.
Yes.
GG's. Let's go.
Oh man.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
that was so awesome. Good job, dude.
Yeah, Zarok could have been a little trickier there. Just curious, what was the time? If. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Not bad.
We're
Very,
good.
very good.
We lost a good amount of time in the ghost ship, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's fine. And you did the asylum skip. So, I mean, you didn't.
You did
That's
catch
true.
You did
Silent
asylum
Ground,
skip.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry.
That's true.
So, like, that's 5 to 6 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, overall, still really, really impressive and really well done.
Well, that's MediEvil, folks. Definitely big thanks to GDQ. Big thanks to all the tech folks working it. Huge thanks to Jaxler1 and Nazzareno96. Thank you so much for providing your commentary. I
been
would
an
not have
honor.
been able. Yeah, I would not have been able to do this on my own. I'm already like dry mouth as it is from talking as much as I have been. So thanks to both of you a lot.
Yeah, if I
And
could just
pleasures.
fit in a quick note real quick. This
yeah.
is like Jacobo's like first time ever doing like a major a marathon showing period. So the fact that like he got up here and just kicked so much butt tonight, I can't tell you all how impressive that is. If you can't figure out, you're a lost cause. So if you haven't been compelled to already, go follow Jacobo on Twitch. It's just Jacobo the Chocobo. Very comfy stream. You should go click that follow button.
It is comfy. I can attest to that. But you know, a big thanks also goes to the viewers and people who are donating. Keep watching. Keep donations coming in. I've been doing GDQ. I've been watching GDQ and donating for like 8 or 9 years. I think it's a great event. I'm really, really stoked about being able to participate this year. So huge thanks to everybody again. And also the friends and family who donated and who stayed up to watch because it's quite late.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Let's give it up again for that MediEvil run. That was amazing. I enjoy. Let's check in on that Oddworld incentive. So for anyone who's just tuning in, first off, you should go back and watch the MediEvil VOD whenever that goes up. But secondly, let me pull up my Oddsworld incentives. Okay, here we go. So we're at $1,710 out of 3,000. Over halfway there. Let's get there before that run starts. It is to catch Decased Raider. This is supposed to be unwinnable, but we're gonna make it winnable. The unwinnable becomes winnable. They're gonna go out of bounds. It's probably gonna look hilarious because it always looks hilarious when you go out of bounds and win. So let's get those donations in, and also just, let me know what Hanna-Barbera cartoons you need to be need turned into video games. All right, well, while I get some of these donations queued up, we're going to have a brief, teeny tiny, itty bitty, very, very, very tiny break. But stick around, we will be right back.